Onetv special report.
Engagement. DepEd recommends that the city implement tree planting as an educational school LGU partnership program with clear guidance on seedling sourcing, planting sites, supervision, care, and monitoring, rather than an absolute prerequisite that automatically conditions graduation of our learners. DepEd Ozamis opposes any ordinance language that would operate in a punitive or exclusionary manner, withholding diplomas, or that fails to address equity, safety, monitoring, and sustainability concerns. This position is grounded on the combination of past DepEd policy and more recent guidance stressing program design, safeguards, and reporting rather than procedural penalties. Our key considerations is number 1, educational purpose versus administrative penalty. DepEd's issuances consistently frame tree planting as an experiential component of environmental education, which we have in our curriculum, like in science for YesO activities and the National Greening Program. And as a school community undertaking, these instruments emphasize learning outcomes, stewardship, and sustainability rather than punitive compliance. Equity and access. Learners differ vastly in access to safe planting sites, parental support, time and resources, and child protection and safety. School activities beyond campus must be supervised, documented, and conducted with parental consent and child protection safeguards. The division cannot support measures that expose learners to unsupervised or unsafe activities. For sustainability, planting is not equal to growing. The environmental benefit relies on survival and care. DepEd guidance emphasizes post-planting care, monitoring, building nurseries, and assigning stewardship, not merely tallying of seedlings planted. Number 5, administrative feasibility and verification. Verification systems are required to avoid false or token compliance. DepEd's recent memorandum prescribes reporting templates and channels for compilation. And number 6, existing national debate and legislative proposals. Several legislative proposals in recent years sought to require tree planting as a graduation prerequisite. DepEd has historically implemented greening programs through issuances and partnerships rather than via categorical graduation impediments. Our recommendations to realize the objectives of the proposed ordinance while protecting learners and ensuring sustainability, DepEd Ozamis recommends the following. Adopt a programmatic partnership model. LGU and DepEd jointly implement a division-level greening program that designates planting targets, nursery support, and maintenance arrangements. Target can be school or cohort-based, not an individual, punitive prerequisite. We can design reasonable, contextual graduation provisions if insisted. If the city insists on linking greening to graduation, then the requirement flexible and inclusive. Learners may then participate individually or contribute via school or community planting days. but also provide exemptions for learners who cannot physically plant because of health, location, socio-economic reasons, and require documentation of alternatives. Ensure LGU enroll partnership for seedlings, sites, and technical support, and require supervision, parental consent, and child protection safeguards. We can also prioritize post-planting care and monitoring, establish school-level stewardship plans for ESO involvement, and require reporting templates similar to the national reporting with DepEd's tree planting report template. We can build verification and reporting into existing channels. We can use our partnerships with City and Ro, using the reporting chain. Avoid placing the verification burden solely on teachers and school heads or the school's division superintendent. We can also integrate this into the curriculum and school improvement plans. In conclusion, DepEd Ozamis remains committed to environmental stewardship. DepEd's past and recent issuances provide ample frameworks for program design, reporting, and partnership. However, on Section 8, enforcement and sanctions, in answer to 8.4.0, the schools division cannot impose disciplinary action or administrative sanctions against teaching and teaching-related personnel of the department, as their disciplining authority of both rests only with the regional director. On Section 8.4.2, non-compliant student is required to present certificate of compliance from the city enroll to the school concerned prior granting release of school credentials. Mr. Chair, this cannot be done. Why? Number one, authority over school records. School credentials are issued and controlled by schools under the Department of Education. An LGU does not have custodial authority and control over these records. Number two, right to education and due process. Withholding credentials can impede a learner's right to continue education and seek employment. Any sanction affecting academic records must have a clear legal basis and due process. A local requirement unrelated to academic performance is generally not a valid ground to block credentials. Number three, DepEd policy direction. DepEd policies consistently frame environmental activities as educational and programmatic, not punitive graduation barriers. And number four, the proper role of LGUs. LGUs may pass ordinances promoting environmental stewardship and partner with schools on tree planting programs. However, conditioning the release of credentials on a local requirement oversteps into academic administration. What is more appropriate is to make tree planting part of the school LGU programs, focused on tree growing and maintenance, in partnership with LGU, city enroll, support for seedlings, site and monitoring. And third, use recognitions or incentives, not penalties, that affect credentials of Ozamisnon learners. Signed, Lorena P. Serrano, CESO 6, Schools Division Superintendent, Schools Division of Ozamis City. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ma'am Arlene. At this juncture, the Chair would like on behalf of the committee members, I say we would like to thank Ma'am Serrano and all the officials for always being proactive in your support to the NGO, especially your active participation in public hearings like this, and all the time you sustain your efforts to submit always your question paper every time we ask you to give your comments. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am. So we really appreciate your efforts, the DepEd committee members. Thank you very much. And I would like to ask the sponsor of the ordinance, Honorable Sakin, to please reserve your collective response, to the initial remarks of our stakeholders, to our city legal officers, to DepEd, and other agencies. I-reserve lang sa later on. And perhaps we will also ask the public schools, because DepEd represents the public schools. Public schools, nabay public schools, secretary, apel. Public schools, mga public schools. Could we also, to be fair to everybody, we ask the initial remarks of the public schools?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your
Your Honor, we are invited representative of LaSalle, engineer. The representative is engineer Engineer Larobis, and Ma'am Villanueva is also the representative.
So we start with LaSalle, no?
Yes.
Engineer Larobis of Ma'am Villanueva, you may indicate also your initial remarks to this proposed ordinance, ma'am. You have the floor. Can you give microphone to our stakeholders from IC LaSalle? Thank you for coming. Please occupy a seat. Engineer Larobis, could you give your initial remarks on this proposed ordinance also?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Once again, I am Engineer Ismail Larubis, the Director of Safety, Sustainability and Environment Center of LaSalle University. So towards our end, to all of the comments of the DepEd, I do agree with that one. I think, and not really I think, I agree with the DepEd position concerning about not putting the tree planting as a compliance or a requirement for our graduating students. And I would also would like to inform the body that LaSalle University has been actively doing tree planting and tree growing activity since 2006 with our program on 1 million trees and beyond. That one is the LaSalle School of the Philippines project. And up to now, with respect to that provision coming from the national, we have grown about 29,107 trees in Misamis Occidental. Around 20,000 trees are grown in Osamis City, more than the Clarin and Sinacaban. So, with due respect also to the comments coming from the DepEd, I agree that it should be in terms of programmatic, not punitive. And then I also agree to the point that if we have to pass this ordinance, and then if we have to consider, just like say for example for LaSalle, we have around from elementary going to the tertiary, we have around 1,200 graduates per year. So my point is, if in the technical level, we require the planting of a tree 10 meters by 10 meters, and then we have 1,200 students, how many square hectares do we have in Osamis that can accommodate the planting area? Last time, when I tried to ask our Senro, through our STS, Miss Elizabeth Grant, or our acting officer in charge of the Community Environment and Natural Resources, last 2018, I asked for a particular area in Osamis City where we can have a MOA or where we can have a site for planting. And the one that was given by Ms. Gran is that we can have the GIMAD Usami City. Now, way back once again to the statement coming from the DepEd, we are actually compromising the safety of our student, noting that GIMAD is quite a slopey area and the road in there is not that good. And then further, when we ask for a site coming once again from the Senro did give us another site, which is the riverbanks of Usami City. Indeed, we are already planting around the Labot River, starting from the airport up to the Calabayan and also going to the Pantaon. Along that riverbanks, you can see the bamboo plants, giant bamboo, Dendrocalamus asper, and we also planted native trees because we are not allowed to plant invasive and non-endemic trees. So our point at this time is, how can we accommodate then our 1,200 students that will be graduating each year, and then we will be requiring them that certificate of compliance in order for them to graduate. So, but if you will, when I have my tree planting strategies at LaSalle, usually I will only require them 1 or 2. So, elementary are required for nursery. So we grow the trees, or we establish nursery at LaSalle University. There is also a MOA with that one with respect to the regional office. So together with the Region 10 sa DNR NATO, we have a MOA with them so that we can build our nursery inside LaSalle. Up to this moment, we have 600 lawaan, and then we have around 3,000 giant bamboo, Mr. Chair. And that one we're ready for planting and as a part of the tree growing initiative of LaSalle University. So maybe for somehow we can improve this one, not towards the mandatory, but rather for somehow giving us support, partnership, so as especially to the sites, and especially towards the permitting. The permitting would take us around 2 months as per notice with our activities last time. So say for example, if we will have a mangrove planting by March, supposedly we have already our permits at this time. So maybe to the case of the local government unit of Usamis, you can have help us by giving us better access, fast access with respect to the permitting of the location. And you can also help us in mobilizing the technical team. You can go to our school, help us educate our student, conduct seminars with them, so that for somehow we can help each other in this particular and very noble initiative for our country and our city. That's all coming from LaSalle University. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, General Robis, for your valuable inputs. Of course, aside from sponsor sa akin, who's serving here his collective responsibility, Ma'am Gan, you can respond also later on. Please share your response to that. We will complete just the public schools, no? After LaSalle, other public schools would like to give initial remarks. Sila ay appeal ni Secretary. Ma'am.
Hello, thank you, Your Honor. We have also here Ma'am Grace Villanueva of Misamis University.
Ma'am Grace.
To all members of this.
Yes, ma'am, you have the floor.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir, and to the author of this ordinance. So the intent and purpose is very good, although I think the logistics that will be involved is quite big. But looking at the ordinance title, mayo man siya, but one thing that struck me is that it is an ordinance implementing tree planting policy to mitigate climate change. I think I would rather suggest, sir, that instead of tree planting, it should be coupled with protection of the bigger old trees, especially parts sa watershed area sa Ozamis City. Kaya kung magtanong ta, it will take us maybe 10, 15 years. But then we fail to protect the old trees in our watershed area, riparian zones of Ozamis City, especially parts of the Labot River. So promote the reforestation. This is okay because deforestation is a very big problem. But then to promote reforestation, I think we should promote first the protection and conservation of what is remaining rather. Restore ecological balance. I think tree planting is not enough to restore ecological balance. We need soil health and other environmental services to be maintained. And also, as I read over all the sections, could it be implemented by phases from the ridge down to our rivers and reef in the implementation? And also, I was looking for the budget because this is, I think, a very big undertaking, and I haven't sent any support because it is stated here that the LGU will be in charge with the nursery of providing a nursery. So pila naman ay gastuhon ana, it would be dako-dako, And also I was thinking if it will be implemented this graduation time sa March, I think it would not be feasible because you still have to grow in the nursery. I think it will take us 1 to 2 years para viable ang seedlings. And yeah, the budget, the time frame. And I think I subscribe to the idea of the DepEd. It is very well said, well put up. So sakto na gito. And also the statement of Engineer Larubis from LaSalle. So it should not be punitive. And for Misamis University, we have the Save Labot River project as early as 2004. And I think we have planted already almost 5,000 fruit trees on the watershed area of Ozamis, in Gimad, I think, Ginguna. Narabi po gato na mo dito 2 kilong mangga. Abot na daw to, sir, So, I think that's all. So the intent and purpose is very good, but then it would be a logistical nightmare, needs additional budget. And then again, to emphasize, I think we have about 3,000 graduating students for MU for this March. So kung 10 pilan man to, 30,000 seedlings. And if we will ask the LGU, napabatay nursery, So those are the things that have to be looked after. I think this should be studied well, maybe revised. Thank you.
Thank you also, Ma'am Grace, for your valuable inputs. Be assured, ma'am, that all your inputs are well taken by the committee members. Thank you. So, yes, under school, public school.
Yes, Your Honor, we have here also Gerson A. Maglasang, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs of the Ozamis Institute of Technology, Your Honor.
We'd like to request also Sir Maglasang to provide your initial remarks to the supposed ordinance from the Ozamis Institute.
Pardon, Honorable Presiding Officer, Mr. Gerson A. Maghanoy.
Gerson A. Maghanoy from Ozamis Institute. Okay, Mr. Maghanoy, sorry. You are not recognized. Please proceed, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. So I just getting instructed by my head VP for academic, Sir Nuli Cagadas, to be on this meeting at lunch because he is now in another meeting po sa among school. So regarding sa what was DepEd and LaSalle and MU just stated a while ago, I am agreeable by their suggestions and recommendations in implementing this for the good and what's this? I'm sorry. For the betterment of to implement this kind of ordinance. I do not have any more suggestions because bago ko na instruct sir, I don't have any idea about this ordinance.
Thank you, Sir Makana, for your inputs. We would like the joint committee members would like to thank you for presence here in behalf of the Misamis Institute, no? Public School. Salamat kayo sir, bisag dili ikaw ang kalit kang nepala, so we are very thankful for your attendance. We value very much your presence here, sir, this afternoon. Thank you very much. So we ask na the school, na public school lain na kating.
Yes, Your Honor, representative from Misamis Union High School, Ma'am Aruwalin Alcopra, Department for Ordination, Your Honor.
So the chair would like to ask also from Misamis Union High School for your initial remarks to this proposal. Can you occupy a chair, ma'am? Nakita pa na, Honorable Janpin, nakita pa. Ma'am, please occupy the chair beside Asaman Red. Alina.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am, please identify for the records and proceed, ma'am.
Our school is really a small school, but we're taking care of a lot of trees. We have 3 acacia trees. They're more than 10 years already, and every time there are big celebrations in the school, we do tree planting. And then we are agreeable, I am personally agreeable with what the DepEd has stated a while ago. And when I return to school, I'm going to inform my boss about this. And I think we, in our community also, in our school community, we have also to address the problem. So we are already having programs, but now that it is now being, we are being aware about this, no, we will be more encouraged to start more programs regarding planting trees. And we are not going to stay only within our school community, but hopefully we're going to go out so that we will be able to model also to our students that tree planting is our responsibility, and it is part of saving our only earth. Thank you. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of the committee members, the chair would like to thank you. We really appreciate your presence, ma'am, to this public hearing. We need the inputs of all stakeholders to today's public hearing. Thank you, ma'am. Another public school?
Yes, Your Honor, from Montessori School, Ma'am Concepcion Bulahan.
Could we ask also from Montessori School to provide your initial remarks to this proposed ordinance? If you may, if you have any remarks, ma'am, observations, please provide us your inputs for the committee members, ma'am. You may proceed. Identify yourself and you proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to the noble body of the Council. In behalf of Montessori School, I say that the plan this is a noble cause. Only that,
as DepEd, where we are under, yes, we know that it's not easy to bring small children, even if there are grade 6, because we have only there will only be grade 6 graduates, because I don't know if the grade 10 will be included, because they are not actually graduates, they will be completers. So we will be, in that case, if there will be a mandatory requirement for grade 6 learners to plan. We have around 29, even if there are only 29 right now, but we know that the logistics is not that easy. And most parents in our school are so prohibitive of their children going out because there's so much concern about safety, especially if the planting area will be outside of the city, mostly in rural areas. So I'm so much grateful for the stand of DepEd because our supervisor have already, a superintendent have said through the position paper that if it's possible, the mandatory requirement should be out of it.